Welcome to the Chamber's Elevated Conversations podcast. And now, your host, Dave Eckmann.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Eckmann. I'm your host for Elevated Conversations. Welcome to this day's podcast. Today, we have Dr. Bushong of Wausau Smiles. Wausau Smiles, Dr. Bushong and his team are the winning recipient of the 2020 Small Business of the Year winner for the Greater Wausau Chamber of Commerce in the business to consumer category. And what we're doing today is to learn about Wausau Smiles, and especially some of the things that Dr. Bushong shared while he was talking about his business. So before we get into this, Dr. Bushong, I just want people to understand where you're at. So you've got this beautiful new office up on 17th Avenue. You're approximate right by the Samuels building and also right below the incredible bank building looking south, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, fabulous facility, state of the art. I was just totally impressed when I was up there with you and your team. So let's real quick get into this discussion. So here's what intrigued me, Dr. Bushong. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're in the professionals, the healthcare profession, but what really struck me on your talk was innovation. If you don't know, in this community, we're working towards building an innovation center. And innovation isn't just for manufacturing, it's for every business. And what I was hoping you could share with the audience today is to talk about the importance of innovation in your industry and in your business.
Yeah, I think, for us, when you use the term innovation, it can relate to so many different things that we do. I mean, not just in our business, but business landscape, I think for most people is constantly changing. I think in healthcare and dentistry, that's certainly the case. I mean, just from a knowledge standpoint, a technology standpoint, and just the business climate itself, especially when you're in a private practice setting like we are, challenges are constantly arising, and the ability to adapt and to change and to, if you want to use the word innovate, without that, it's getting harder and harder to, we're doing more work for less pay, essentially more and more as the cost of things go up and things shift to, more of a corporate atmosphere across our entire industry, which just creates challenges for us on supply line and just on the private side, we end up, having to pay a premium just to stay in business. So, those types of things. And then of course, trying to stay, I hate to use the term, in with what I do is competitors, because I look at, other dentists in the area as colleagues, but, you're still, as a business owner, trying to do things that separate you from, the rest of your colleagues to get people to come in. So, that's something I think that we've done a good job of, but really what it comes down to, I think more than anything, like I said previously on the growth, is just, it's for us, it's just been a focus on the environment and the atmosphere and taking care of people. And, I think that sounds cliche, but it really is true that if you simply give people a good experience, the word spreads. And we've used some of those innovative things to kind of get to that point, or to help us create those experiences and create the good vibes and good word. But really, I think that's what it's come down to more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what's really important, and you focused on it right away, and you continue to talk about your profession as a healthcare professional, a doctor of dentistry, that you serve patients. But in all realities, you are a business, and you have to operate as such if you're going to compete in a really competitive world, actually, at this point in time for all industries. One of the things that really, because one of the things that really caught my ear when you were talking was, I remember breaking a tooth, and I remember having to go get a temporary crown. And you talked about this immediate turn Can you share about that and what that meant for your business, but how you positioned your team to help support that technology?
Yeah, I think, from this is getting more dental specific now, but so I'll try to make this as understandable as possible. But I think from a big picture standpoint, that technology that you're referring to has been around for a long time. Actually, I mean, it's a CAD/CAM technology. So essentially, dentistry and a lot of the healthcare professionals we're getting away. In a lot of respects from the physical impression taking, to make a mold of someone's teeth and mouth in switching it to a more digital based thing where we can simply scan the mouth and then use that digital file to create whatever it is that we're creating. Well, in the case that you're speaking of, which happens often, broken tooth requiring a crown, one of the biggest issues patients biggest complaints is they're in a temporary, creates a second appointment, creates another half day off of work or full day depending on the job. Temporaries are often sensitive. So this was just one thing as a patient convenience that I implemented about 6 years ago now. And the technology allows us to scan the tooth chair side, and then we have a mill at the office that I'll design the crown right in front of them. Patients usually think that is pretty cool because they're seeing their mouth on a screen, and now they're seeing, me kind of. It's like playing video games, honestly, for your teeth. So, it breaks the day up a little bit, but that allows us to, in about a half hour's time from the time we're done prepping the tooth, we have the crown back and we can cement it in their mouth and they're completely done. Wow. So patients love that. From my standpoint, and you asked a very good question about how, it was implemented. That is hands down the biggest challenge. And because you bring in this new piece of technology that we don't learn how to use this in dental school. It's an expensive piece of technology, so you want to use it, right? But now you've got to get your entire team on board. You have to teach them this new things into a very busy schedule already. And I think that for most people in my profession, the biggest difference is a lot of people will go to CE and they'll hear these talks and they'll get trained on things. But the next level is then being able to implement it in your practice and actually do it and commit to doing it and go through those bumps in the road to get to a point where you can do it as smoothly as possible. And that's this specific case, the same day crowns, it definitely throws, I don't want to say it throws off the schedule, but it's less efficient for me to do it that way than the traditional way, but patients really like it. So, we do a lot of it. I mean, we do a fair amount of it, but I limit it to single back teeth. If it gets more than that, it gets a little cumbersome. But it's a really good example of what we're talking about before. It was just one thing, and word of that spreads. At the time that we started doing it, I don't know that there was anyone else in the area doing it. Right. Over in the Green Bay area where I was previously, there's a lot more of it over there. So, that's just one small example that creates good dentistry, and it creates a good patient experience because they're excited that they don't have to come back.
Oh yeah, I know that experience. Lived it. So just so folks know around this area. So where are you from? You said Green Bay.
I'm from Rhinelander originally. Okay. So yeah, grew up. Parents still live there, and yeah.
Okay, so there you sit and you go to work in a beautiful office in a beautiful location. What do you like about Wausau?
Well, I mean, for me, I ended up here with my wife is from the area, and I spent a few summers playing for the Woodchucks. So I got familiar with Wausau back in 2001 through 2003. Okay. I spent some time there. So that was kind of my introduction into being here. And Wausau, growing up in Rhinelander, was always kind of, you'd go to Wausau for a while to get to a Walmart, till we got one. So it's kind of where you went if you wanted to eat at a place other than McDonald's or, to do a lot of shopping. So to me, it's a perfect mix in size. between, it's got most of the conveniences of a bigger city, but it still feels small. It's close to home for me, right in the middle of the state. So, all of those things. And then, for me, business has been great. I mean, the community has embraced us and what we're doing, and we've tried to do that back. So it's been a really good fit. I think, it's been a great place to have the kids grow up to. So.
Terrific. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So you were a baseball player, and you're a baseball fan. I'm assuming you're still a baseball fan.
I am, right? Long-suffering Brewer fan.
Okay. So who's your favorite Brewer of all time?
Of all time? Ooh, that's a good question. I'd probably say Paul Molitor.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, from back, I don't want to date myself, but I mean, that's when growing up, I really started to follow them close when during his heyday, and I spend more time than I should following them.
Well, hey, we'll see what happens yet. They're not totally out of it yet this year, but it's close.
Yeah, it's big day today.
It is, yeah. Definitely a big day with a doubleheader. Yeah. So I don't have anything else for you, Doctor. I want to let you get back to it. I really want to extend our appreciation to you for your time sharing your story. And we're going to be in touch with you as we move forward with our innovation project, because we have a strong healthcare sector, and healthcare must be part of our ecosystem. And so we'll be in touch with you, sir.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Dave.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day, folks. This is our edition of Elevated Conversations. Thank you, Dr. Bushong.
This podcast episode is a production of the Greater Wausau Chamber of Commerce.